everyone. Hi from early morning here in Sydney in my home, and we have Doza here joining us today. Yeah, it's so exciting. This is my first live stream, so forgive me if there's a little bit of umming and ahhing a little bit. Oh, there you go, umming and ahhing. Doza is not ordinarily allowed on the couch, but he's here for this very special occasion because I literally, I wanted to do this in my kitchen, but the logistics of getting Doza in the frame and me as well was kind of hard. So it ended up here on the couch just so you guys could see Doza. Plus, I also had to bribe him to cooperate with this, which is literally, I know, don't judge me, these are called Vegemite shapes. Any Aussies online will know what they are. Vegemite is an Australian spread that looks like tar. It's black, and it's very controversial because it seems like no one other than Australians love it. But basically, they've made biscuits in the shape of Australia, and this is literally Doza's favourite treat. And now he's dribbling all over me. Busted to get this, but yeah, that is how I got him up on the couch, and how I'm getting him to sit here and cooperate. Like he's a sweet, innocent, well-behaved dog, but actually this is not him at all. So good morning to everyone. Well, good evening to everyone in the States and the other side of the world. It's just past 7 a.m. here in Australia, and I'm so excited to be here doing my first live stream, totally winging it. I was going to try and be all professional and hire an MC who could sit behind me and prompt me with questions. But, in the end, I thought, let's just go impromptu and let's see where this leads us. I've got all these questions coming through on the screen. I've got a whole bunch of questions that were pre-submitted as well. And I was actually going to do a live cook demo, but I tried to do it last night. I did a bit of a practice run. I know I'm such a dork with my computer there, and it was a little bit tricky. It was hard to see what was going on. It's just normally easier for me to use my phone because I can move it around and I can show you what's in pots, etc. So I decided to ditch the idea of doing a cooking demo, and instead thought we'd do something a little bit different. I'll take you on a tour of my kitchen, my personal kitchen and my work kitchen, because I actually have my work kitchen and my shooting studio in my house downstairs. So this is where my team comes, and this is where my cookbook was shot, and this is where I do all my videos and photos that you see on my website and on social media. So yeah, I thought I'd do that and maybe show you guys some of my favourite appliances as well. But first up, while I've got Doza sitting here and cooperating, I thought what I'd do is just quickly explain to you the wonderful hosts of this live stream is Premier Collectibles. And what they do is they sell autographed books. So I just wanted to show you what it's going to look like. Basically, what they've done here is, the challenges of living in a different country is they have sent me hundreds and hundreds of these book plates, which are these beautiful, they are stickers. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just gonna call them stickers, but they're very fancy stickers. So it's not just like a basic printer label. And basically what I will be doing is signing them all personally, and then they get put inside the book. And yeah, and basically, and so you'll get an autographed copy. And we also have a Doza stamp as well. So every single person who gets a Premier Collectibles autographed copy will have a custom signed by me, and it will also have the custom Doza paw print on it as well, which is, we got it made especially to do autographs of the book, and it's literally a miniature version of his paw in stamp form. So yeah, crazy dog lady. Yes, we all know I'm a crazy dog lady. All right, I'm really buzzing to get up from this couch because Doza is dribbling all over me. So let's freestyle. Oh, actually, what I might do is, because some people actually pre-submitted questions, so because they've taken the time to submit those questions in advance, I thought, why don't I answer them first, and then we'll go for a walk throughout my house. Okay, so Carmen from New York asks, what inspired you to come out with a cookbook now? You know, I want to say that there was inspiration, and it was just that time of the life, at that time in my life, I just felt right to do it. But actually, it was my publisher who convinced me. So even back, I think back maybe 5 years ago, publishers started contacting me and asking if I do a cookbook, and I just kept on saying no, no, no. You know, it's so much extra work. And then my publisher here in Australia, Pan Macmillan, her name's Ingrid Olsen. She reached out to me, and I just felt, I don't know, I felt very comfortable with her. She's hilarious, incredibly smart, talented lady. But I think most importantly, I had a lot of confidence in her and that she would support me through it, because I knew that, like with anything else I do in life, if I started a cookbook, it wouldn't just be a quick little project that I do. I knew that I wouldn't get someone else to photograph it, which meant a lot of photos. And I also knew that my first cookbook, I was never going to do a cookbook without doing a recipe video for every single recipe, because that's what I do on my website. And I didn't want it to be any different just because it was in printed form. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but every single recipe in my book has that's a boring recipe. I want to show you a really exciting one. Oh, this one's a really exciting one, Vietnamese shaking beef. So every single recipe has a little, little QR code there. So when you're reading the recipe and you're making this in your kitchen, you can just scan it with your phone and it'll take you straight to the recipe video. And it's one of those quick style recipe videos that you always see on my website. So the concise, hands only ones. So yeah, I was just, I don't know what it was. I can honestly say there were probably 5, 6, 7 other publishers that contacted me leading up to it. But it was my publisher here in Australia that I just felt very comfortable with, and I don't regret the decision at all. She was wonderful. And then Countryman Press in the States, my wonderful publisher there, and she's just been amazing. It's been really challenging translating the book into American. Coriander, cilantro, bell peppers, capsicum, ounces, grams, Fahrenheit, Celsius. That was a fun conversion process. But Anne and her team, they were absolutely wonderful to work with. Very long answer to the first question. But basically, yeah, it wasn't so much that I had inspiration. It's just that the right publisher came along and I felt really confident and comfortable working with them. And that's what made me decide, yep, now's the time to do a cookbook. Second question, if you had to choose one recipe in this book for the rest of the time, which would it be and why? Oh, that one's really easy and so predictable. Baked mac and cheese. I just love it. I've been making it for so long, and I've never changed the recipe, and there's no reason to, because it's perfect. And if you want proof of how great it is, I have had restaurants and bistros from around the world asking, so they'd email in and ask if it's okay if they could use my recipe to serve to their customers. So yeah, I thought that was pretty flattering and validation. What's some advice you would give to a newbie in the kitchen? Don't stress, have fun, look forward to what you're about to eat, because honestly, the biggest thing I find is when you get all tense and you stress in the kitchen, that's when you make mistakes and you start second guessing yourself. And I think I, of all people, can definitely tell you that as first-hand experience, because I find the way I describe it is I've lost my mojo. Everything I'm making is stuffed up. It's not working. And it's because I get all tense and I feel the pressure of timelines and deliverables. And I've definitely felt it during the cookbook. But then nowadays, I've just learned that when I get stuck for ideas and things just aren't working in the kitchen, I just let it go, leave it, and then I come back to it. And yeah, when I'm relaxed and just chilling out and I just do something impromptu, that's when things work. So that's the advice I give everyone, newbies and anyone who's cooking in the kitchen. Just relax. And honestly, focus on the end goal, how delicious the food you make is going to be to eat. Because that's really what it's all about, right? The eating part. I'm not going to lie, that is the reason why I cook so much, because I enjoy the eating so much. What pushed you and motivated you to start a blog? So another one where I want to give you a a politically correct answer, and then but I'm actually just going to tell you the truth. So a lot of people start blogs because it's their passion and they love what they do, and I certainly love food and cooking, but the reason I started a blog and the reason why I put so much into it is because I hoped that I could build it into be my new career. So I definitely started my website with the intention of it becoming a business and a full-time job. And that's why I threw everything I have into it, and I planned it like I was starting a new business. And yeah, so I very much looked at it as a business when I started it. But I guess you would say it was fueled by passion in terms of, I mean, I love cooking, I love eating, but the end goal for me was, well, if I'm going to commit 100% of my time to it, then I need to look at it like a business. You know, I'm not a trust fund baby. Unfortunately, I don't have tons of family money supporting me. Literally just, you know, I have to make my own living. So yeah, that's what fueled my motivation behind the blog. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you first started the blog? How'd you overcome? Oh, that was everything. So firstly, I didn't know what a blog was when I didn't leave my corporate job to start a website. I actually left my job not knowing what I was going to do, just knowing that now was the time to try doing something of my own. And I came across these things. I came across recipe websites, and then I accidentally discovered that some of these websites were earning revenue and making an income from their websites. And I thought, whoa, what is this business? How cool would this be? Slapping up my favorite recipes online and earning money from it. And then I learned that they actually had a name and they were called blogs. And I was like, blog? What is a blog? So yeah, it was just through research that I discovered what a blog was. So I guess the first challenge was just understanding how on earth people were making a living online, what a blog was, how to start a blog. I mean, there was a lot of just learning the basics of technology and how to start a website online. I still to this day don't understand how the internet works. I don't know where my website is. It's just like up there in a cloud, and I'm always worried about the stability of the business because I don't actually understand where all my photos are, etc. I know that sounds really weird, but I just don't get technology. And so technology was a big part just in terms of literally starting the website and getting my website up. The second biggest challenge for me was learning how to take good photos. So I had never held a proper camera in my life. So all my photos were taken just on whatever phone I had at the time. And when I was looking at how to start a website, it became very obvious to me that it doesn't matter how good your recipes are or even how well you write recipes. If you don't have good photos, then I was never going to succeed in my business online. And that's a really hard truth because it would actually annoy me because I would see beautiful photos online, beautifully bright, colourful photos, and then I would go onto the recipe website and I'd be like, oh, that's a terrible recipe. Like if you make a stir fry like that, it would just be tasteless. Like you'd see stunning photo of this beautiful coloured stir fry, and then I remember jumping on the website, and I will never tell you which website it was because I bet some of you know this website. I jumped on and I saw the recipe, and the stir fry sauce was soy sauce, brown sugar and water, and I was like, there's no way that is going to be tasty. You know it, I know it. You need more than soy sauce to make a stir fry. But I guess the lesson learned there was that I myself was getting tripped up just by, beautiful photos catching my eye online when I was searching for recipes. So I knew that I had to learn how to take decent photos. So learning how to, self-teaching basically, food photos was quite a challenge. Interestingly, I did look at online courses and I got books, and I was looking at even going to courses here in Sydney for how to take food photos. What I found was that you can learn certainly the fundamentals of the technicalities behind cameras and about exposures and f-stops and all these things, but the type of photos that I find work online and on social media and on my website are actually quite different to traditional photography, and especially now that I've worked with real photographers, you know, in the print world, magazines and newspapers and cookbooks, etc. I very much know that the style of photos that I do for online is very different to the cookbook. And even the photos that I did in my cookbook, I very consciously actually had to take them more pulled back is the main thing, and even just more simple in the styling. And there were also some technical things as well in terms of just using, you know, a higher f-stop. I won't get into technicalities there, but yeah, it's different. So self-teaching photos for online. Then the next biggest challenge was, I guess, communicating online, how to communicate online. So I come from a finance world. I used to have to try to make buildings sound interesting to banks. So that is what I used to do. I used to go to banks and say, my company would like to build this $1 billion project. Please will you lend me $1 billion? And I would have to try to make buildings sound really sexy and exciting. And yeah, that was kind of a challenge. So it's much easier with food, can I just say? Much easier to make food look exciting. Okay, Dose is getting a little bit fidgety, so I'm just going to let him remind him why he's here. This is why you are here. Ugh, dribble, nice. So learning how to write and communicate online was another challenge when I first started. And then I would say and the most recent two biggest challenges have been learning how to take and make recipe videos. So in the early days, I don't know if you've seen any of my early videos, but they are rather questionable quality. But I taught myself how to film as well as edit the videos, and then obviously the technical stuff, getting it online and exporting it for online quality, etc. And then I guess the latest challenge I've got now is just learning how to run a team. And yeah, it's been expanding and hiring, like having people in my team so we can do more, and especially with my food bank has been the most wonderful part of what I do. But certainly it doesn't come without challenges, because I'm not a perfect boss. I just do the best I can. But yeah, that's been a learning curve as well. So yeah, again, a very long answer to a very simple question. I'll try to get through some of them a bit faster so we can go on the tour. Okay. Did you ever think you would become this hit sensation with over 1 million followers? No, absolutely not. I never think of numbers. I never think of followers. Well, here's a little secret. I don't tell many people. In fact, I don't think I've told anyone in this whole cookbook tour. I haven't told any media. I haven't told any journalists or anyone. When I write my website and everything that I do on my website, I just pretend I'm talking to one person. Like right now, I'm just picturing Brenda or Brenda. I just am pretending that I'm just talking to Brenda. And that's the way I write my website as well. I just pretend I'm talking to one person. For me, the one person that I talk to is my friend Rachel, who's one of my best friends. She's sort of like my model reader, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, everything I do and the recipes I choose and the way I write and why I explain things and all of that is around, you know, what I know she knows in the kitchen and what I think will help her. And even leading up to Christmas and Thanksgiving, I think, oh, well, what will help Rachel this year? Oh, you know, let's help her put together an economical, mostly make ahead Christmas this year. So, yeah, that's, I really don't think about millions. I just think about the one person, and you are that one person. You're tired and it's been a long day at work. What's your go-to meal? Oh, stir fry, because I always have a jar of Charlie, my all-purpose stir-fry sauce, on hand in the fridge, which is basically a shake and pour. It's got enough flavour in it that you don't need to add anything else. You just chuck in whatever vegetables and proteins you've got, mix the sauce up with some water, pour it in, and then you've got a stir-fry sauce. You can just throw in some noodles if you want stir-fried noodles, or serve it over rice. But I think the main thing is that it's just a standby sauce. You definitely cannot buy a sauce like it at the shops, and it truly tastes like, even without adding anything else other than water, truly tastes like what you'll get at a Chinese restaurant. So I think in the States you guys call it a brown sauce. So it's like a clear coloured pale brown sauce. And the recipe is here in the cookbook, but it's also online. Actually, just while I've got 150 recipes, well, it's actually more than 150, but of the 150, I think about 30% are fan favourites from the website and the rest of them are new. So one of the existing recipes in there is Charlie. So if you haven't met Charlie, you need to meet Charlie. Trust me, he will change your life. When did you discover your love for cooking? Oh, here's another one where I want to give you like a really romantic answer, but yeah, it's not. Like, I think people want to think that I developed my love of cooking through my mother, and as kids, you know, she'd line us up at the kitchen bench and we would wrap dumplings together. But actually the truth is I was a total brat of a kid, never helped out in the kitchen, never helped out with dishes. You know, I was that kid. I don't know, do I look like an angel now? Because I was that kid that would sneak out of the house in the middle of the night and Mum would come into my room to find that I wasn't there. So yeah, I was a bit naughty. I was regularly, you know, in detention at school. I was definitely classified as one of the naughty kids at school. It wasn't me, it was my friends. They were a bad influence. So it wasn't through my mother that I grew my love of cooking. Actually, it was because even though we were quite poor growing up, my mum was a really great cook and we used to go and catch our own fish in Sydney Harbour because, well, A, they didn't have raw fish in Sydney back then, and B, we couldn't afford it anyway, and we never ate out because we couldn't afford it. So, but I never realised that I never felt like I was lacking in the food department because Mum was always a really great cook. But I moved out of home at 18 because I wanted to go out and make it on my own. I started in the corporate world, full-time job, did university at night, and I moved out into a cheap apartment, which I flat shared. And it was a massive shock to the system that I went from, you know, just expecting all this great food every night to be on the dinner table to having to fend for myself and realising that I couldn't cook and I couldn't afford to eat out at fancy restaurants. Shock horror. So it was basically through sheer necessity. And as I started, you know, socialising with friends and discovering the fun of, well, I'm not going to lie, being able to legally drink, you know, wine and stuff like that. But we couldn't afford to go out to restaurants because we were all poor uni students. So I would start having dinner parties in my house, BYO cheap wine. And that's literally where it all started, out of sheer necessity, not even necessity, but sheer desire to eat tasty food because I couldn't afford to eat out and Mum wasn't there to cook it for me on demand anymore. So that's why I learned to cook. And I never stopped. Have you had any professional training in photography or videography, or are you self-taught? Completely self-taught. For tips, I probably can't go into tips right now, but yeah, I do have a lot of tips actually, but yeah, I'm completely self-taught, and it was just through sheer trial and error and yeah, just a lot of grunt work and figuring it out for myself and what works online. So yeah. Did you ever go to culinary school? No, I am a completely self-taught home cook. I just think compared to most home cooks, I think I'm just a little more curious about, you know, just I self-teach. I'm always researching things. My idea of a relaxing Friday night is to watch cooking shows. So I'm always learning. I'm always reading. The only thing I read is cookbooks. I also now have a real chef in my team. So he's been amazing at teaching me a lot of things that I didn't know. And I think I can hear him rattling around downstairs. So I'll introduce you to him shortly as well. All right, let's do a few more questions. What has anyone inspired? I think we've been through that. What was your most challenging dish to make? Is there an ingredient that you are not a fan of? Oh, well, the second part's easy. The one normal thing that I don't eat is bananas. I know it's really weird. I've been asked for a banana bread recipe so many times and I said, I'm sorry, that's the one recipe that will never be on my website. I just hate those awful slimy things. And you can blame my mother because what would happen is that as a kid, she would send me to school with lunch boxes, well, actually bento boxes, and she'd put a banana inside them. And this is in the days before thermal lunchboxes. So you can imagine in a hot summer day in Sydney, that banana would be like sweltering and steaming away in amongst all my food, and everything would be infested with banana flavour. Not good. So yeah, I don't eat bananas. And my most challenging dish to make, I want to say, well, I think in the cookbook, definitely the beef Wellington. Yeah, it was certainly the most technical. It was also very hard to, well, I just wanted to, because it was such a big recipe and it is a big time investment as well as money investment, because a beef tenderloin is certainly not the cheapest cut of meat. So I wanted to test it a lot. So I tested a lot. My team tested a lot. We did. Oh gosh, I wish I had the piece of paper with our matrix of all the different scenarios. We tested right down to different beef sizes, and even the width and the length make a difference. And yeah, but I'm really, really proud of that. I know, oh, what's wrong with me? I can't do it. I know this is not a recipe that many people will make because it is quite technical, but I'm very, very proud of it because I looked at so many recipes online and, you know, in cookbooks and from all the famous chefs that you think would have a good recipe for beef Wellington. And just, yeah, I was never happy with the outcome. So, yeah, really, really happy that we cracked it, and really happy that I've had some photos submitted from people who have made it successfully. And, yeah, so yeah, that was definitely the most challenging ever. Okay, so I think that's it on what we might do now is, do you want to go for a walk? Come and see my kitchen. All right, Doze, come on, let's go. So I'll hopefully it's not too wobbly. So we were just sitting in my living room. Doza, you need to get off the couch now because you are not allowed on the couch, as you know. Come on, mister. So, come on. Come on, treats. Come on, treats. Treats, Doza, come on. All right, you stay there. That's fine. Okay, so we were just sitting in that's my living room. And now I'm going to take you into my kitchen. I have to walk backwards. How can I do this? Okay, here we go. So I actually renovated my home about 12 months ago, and I had my kitchen designed very specifically to my requirements. My architects told me that, yeah, the kitchen design was a little unusual. It was a little larger than most. And also I had some very specific requirements. So I thought I'll just walk you through and I'll show you some of the stranger things that I've done here. Well, this isn't strange, but 2 ovens was certainly a necessity, just given the sheer amount of cooking that we do here. This is one of the things that I really specifically asked for. It's a cupboard where I can put trays upright, because it really annoys me when they're stacked, because I need to be able to grab them very quickly. So yeah, I put them upright. I've got another one up here as well, which I use for cooling racks, because yeah, I have an unusual amount of cooling racks. Again, just because of the sheer amount of work that I do in the kitchen. What else have I got here? 5-burner stove. Oh yes. Induction versus gas. I'm a gas girl all the way. I will never be an induction girl. I understand people need it for and desire it for safety purposes, but there's something about being able to cook over a flame that you can see. Also, induction, I'm sorry, you will never be able to stir fry properly. I think in terms of professional kitchens, there is a reason why most kitchens in this world, most restaurants in this world still use gas. There are some that use, there are some really fine dining restaurants that use induction. The precision is fantastic, but there are certainly some limitations, I think, anyway. But yeah, what I always say is that there's a reason why most restaurants in the world still use gas. So that's the way I look at it. Okay, I don't know how can I do this. I do have a very big island. Just from a sheer practical perspective, I need the counter space. I know it looks like I do have a big kitchen. But honestly, I can tell you during the busy times of the cookbook, every single inch of this kitchen surface space was being used. Oh, this is the other thing I'm very proud of. I know this is, here we go. This is my sauce drawer. And what I do here, and then this is my flour drawer. Basically, I can call it a sauce drawer. I call it a sauce drawer, but actually what it is it's just a space where I can keep ingredients that I use all the time. So things that, because I can literally just, you see it there? Oh, look, there we go. Because I'll be here. This is my main workspace. This is my main workspace here. And then I literally can just go like this and just grab whatever sauces and vinegars I'm after. So yeah, flour, sugar, olive oil, soy sauce, obviously. Yeah, so there's that. And then double fridge, so fridge here. And then I've got another fridge there and a freezer there. I'm not going to lie, I have a few fridges and freezers here. I've got, well, I'll show you my studio kitchen after this. And then I've got my washing up area here. And then we go around into what is my pantry. And I very specifically decided to do a open plan pantry because I wanted to be able to see everything, so I could grab everything quickly. So you can see there, I've just got everything laid out there, and I use these cupboards here as well for food storage. But my pride and joy is this spice rack. Oh, how good is that? This is literally the thing that I spent the most time designing in this kitchen, right down to the last centimetre of how wide the rack was, because this here was specifically designed to fit these spice jars. And yes, they're all in alphabetical order. And then down here, I made the jar, I made it wider so I could fit things like spreads in there. So this is like the spreads level. And then down here, I made this part. I never thought I would be squatting on the floor of my pantry with my computer. I hope no one in my team takes a photo because it would look ridiculous right now. And then down here, I made the gap taller specifically so I could fit in like soy sauces and bottles there. But yeah, for me, I guess it's about, I am very fortunate that I have the space to build a pantry like this. But for me, I guess the way I look at it is most people who have businesses have an office. This is my office. So yeah, this is where I invest my real estate budget for my business. And it's all around speed, like being able to work efficiently, because as some of you may know, I'm a little particular about tasting my recipes and making sure that they work and that they work out to be exactly what I'm after. So yeah, I think in terms of the volume of cooking that I do, what am I doing? I'm going to show you. Oh, sorry. Oh, how did I not show you my pride and joy? What is it? My knife rack. This is another one of the weird things that I asked for in the kitchen that actually started out as a practical thing but ended up being a showpiece. That makes sense. I don't know if you can see, but it's even got a light, like it's built into the wall. For me, originally, it was about sheer practicality because I wanted my knives very accessible, so I can just grab exactly what I need and I can see them out rather than opening a drawer every time I needed a different knife, because I do use different knives for different purposes. So yeah, I guess that's another good example of working with professionals, because I just, all I was interested in was the, can you see it there? All I was interested in was the practical part. I was just worried about ease of accessibility of the knives. And then I had an architect who kept on saying, well, Nagi, like practicality is all very well, but let's try and not make it look completely ugly. So they're the ones who came up with the idea of making it recessed and having the light there and making it look all fancy. Whereas I was just happy with, well, I didn't really care about looks, to be honest. I just wanted it to work. While I'm here, what time is it? Okay. Wow. How have we been talking for over 30 minutes already? This is so weird. I was really worried about the time. Like, I actually posted on Facebook just before I came on here. I was freaking out, going, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know if I can do this. But the time is just flying. So, actually, let me show you just a quick little chat on favorite appliances. So, my number one most valued kitchen equipment is my knife. This, not going to lie, this is a bit of an investment. It's a Japanese handcrafted knife. You can only get in Japan. They do actually sell online now, but you need to read Japanese. So yeah, it's but keep an eye on my website and on my social media, because I do giveaways every now and then. Typically when my mum goes to Japan, I ask her to bring back a couple of them for me, and then because I like to do giveaways. So yeah, this is definitely my most precious kitchen equipment. The thing with sharp knives is everyone thinks, there's a risk of cutting yourself is greater, but actually it's not true. The blunt knives are the ones that are very risky for cutting yourself, because you just think about cutting a tomato with a blunt knife, it just slides off the skin, and that's how you chop off your finger. Whereas if you've got a sharp knife, as soon as it touches anything, it catches in there, and so you don't have that risk of sliding off and cutting your finger. So if there's one thing that I recommend to anyone to invest in over a fry pan, a Dutch oven, or anything like that, it'd be a good knife. It will make you faster, better cook immediately. Couple of other things for me, like all those like fancy Vitamixes and Blendtecs and food processors and all those things, and even NutriBullets. And I'm not going to lie, I do have all of them. But remember, this is what I do for a job. But I'll tell you, the number one thing I use is this. This is what I use the most. And this is something that actually my chef taught me this, because this is what he uses more than any piece of blitzing equipment. And the biggest game changer for me has been using this, not only for the obvious things like doing soups in a pot, but the biggest game changer is making pastes, like curry pastes and things like that. Because when you make a curry paste and you have like a small amount of stuff that you put in this giant food processor, and then you're constantly scraping down the sides, or like hummus, dips, pesto, all those things that you normally do in a food processor. Forget that. Use this. It is so much easier. Firstly, you can do it in any bowl. So it's much easier. You don't have to scrape around blades and stuff. You don't have to worry about scraping around the sides, because let's face it, it's a pain to do in a food processor. You just use this. You literally just use this, and you just like move it around, so you don't have to worry about scraping around sides. And honestly, I use this for pretty much all my dips now. Hummus, pesto, avocado sauce, anything that gets pureed. I use this, soups obviously, and then the biggest game changer for me has been curry pastes. So it just means, I'm making a lot more curries these days, and with a lot less mess, because up until 3 years ago, I didn't have a dishwasher. That's right, didn't have a dishwasher. If you guys don't have one of these, can you see it? Microplane. Oh, I love my microplane. So not just the obvious things like Parmesan cheese, but also garlic. So you just do that to grate the garlic. Ginger, you don't even need to peel the ginger, because the skin just kind of ends up on the surface. I use this a lot. Nutmeg, but I'm not going to lie, cheese is probably the main thing I use it for. Okay, this is another little thing. People think I'm weird that I'm going on about this, but this peeler, vegetable peeler. So there are many, not all vegetable peelers are created equal. And let me tell you, this shape of vegetable peeler, because I know that some people have those long, thin ones. Oh my gosh, forget them. They are such a waste of time. This brand in particular, I cannot pronounce it. Kun Rikon. There is it's so good. I don't know what it is about this, but even other ones shaped like this are not as efficient in terms of like the skin getting caught in it and just the ergonomics of holding it. There's a post on my website called Essential Kitchenware Items, and there's a link to all of these, as well as a photo and an explanation of why I'm bizarrely obsessed with them. Two more little things. It's not even for ice cream that I'm obsessed with these. So this is just an ice cream scoop with a lever, and it's honestly not even ice cream. I don't have a sweet tooth. Well, that's a lie. I will eat cake if someone puts it in front of me, but it's not cake that I crave. But I use this for fritters, to dump fritters into pans, muffins, cupcake, anything that kind of needs to be portioned or ball shape. Arancini balls, anything, koftas. I use this a bizarre amount. So yeah, I think it only cost me $3 at my local kitchenware shop, and I love it. And then the last thing, jars. I obsessively use jars. So my main thing is dressings. I always shake my dressings in jars. And the reason is simple. It's practical because you can leave leftover dressing in the jar. But secondly, shaking it is just by far the fastest and easiest and best way to emulsify a dressing, which is just a fancy word for the vinegar and the oil reacting together to combine properly to become thick so it actually clings to your salad and makes your lettuce actually tasty, because plain lettuce doesn't really have much in it. So so I do all my dressings in here, do sauces in here. I don't do a lot of mixing, I do a lot of shaking. So okay, I know I don't have much time left, so let's dash down, because I can hear Chef rattling around downstairs. So let's go down and say hello to him. So where we're going right now is downstairs to my studio. I actually specifically got this house because there was a bottom floor that I knew, well, I think they were using it as a separate apartment they were renting out, and I got it because I wanted to build my office studio down here. So we're now down on my lower floor, and there he is, and I can smell something cooking. Hey JB, how you going? This is Le Chef. Wait, I can't do the. How you going?
I'm good. Hi, everyone.
So this is his actual name is Jean Baptiste, but no one knows how to pronounce it. So we just call him JB, as we do here in Australia. Everyone's name gets shortened. So this is, I think people are now starting to call JB Le Chef. What? Don't be shy, JB. What are you making here today? So he's already started cooking for the day. Hey, I'm getting in his way. What are you cooking, JB?
So today we're just testing one of a new good food recipe for the SOS series, which is a quick prawn laksa.
Yeah.
So normally laksa will take about an hour to make, and we're doing a testing on the 15 minutes.
Well, we've got the laksa in the cookbook, and that one's takes about an hour to make.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So laksa is such an iconic dish here in Australia. So very excited. There's a lot of demand for this 20-minute laksa. What else are we making today, JB?
We're doing some testing on the margarita pizza.
Yes, the watery cheese issue we've got to solve.
Yeah.
Empanadas. Yeah. We're going to do empanadas. Awesome. So have we got? Oh, here we go. Bonjour, Jean Baptiste. That looks like a French name there.
Bonjour.
So has anyone got any questions for JB? If you're on Facebook, you can submit them. So because actually all the questions have been coming through live. So JB, can I ask you some questions for people? So JB, whereabouts in France are you from?
So I'm originally from Lyon, just outside of Lyon, which is a large city close to Switzerland. Yeah, if you know French geography. And but my parents, my father is from Burgundy, so a lot of my family is from the one region.
And I think the guys will be interested to know that you actually worked in. Can we turn the music? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I think the guys will be interested to know that. JB has interesting taste in music. Sometimes I walk in here and there's French rap playing. So I keep telling him that the French don't rap. So, but I think so. People might be interested to know that. So JB actually, before he came to Sydney, he worked in Manhattan for a very famous chef over there. So,
I did work for over 4 years for Daniel Boulou at his bistro near Times Square called DB Bistro Moderne. I was executive sous chef there.
No, he's talking it down. He ran the restaurant for a Michelin chef. So he always talks himself down. He ran a restaurant for a Michelin chef. So amazing. And someone here has submitted the question: how did you get to work with me?
I met Nagi about 2.5 years ago through my catering job, and then I guess I made a good impression. And a few months later, she offered me a job in her team, which I was really grateful, and of course I accepted it.
That was a
lot
nice way
joy.
nice way of saying that I stole him. But no, we have he's incredible. Like I can't. It's been incredible. So yeah, having JB in my team, has been a total game changer in terms of the type of recipes we've been able to do, the extent to which we test as well, because his speed in the kitchen is pretty phenomenal. So we can get through a lot of stuff. So and you think I'm meticulous with testing recipes? This guy, oh my gosh! Can I please show you what he was doing yesterday at the testing? Look at this. Look at the maths that gets done in order to get recipes right. So this was scaling to figure out the proportions of filling for a particular pastry that we're working on. But yeah, literally like the wrong. I said to him, it's the wrong type of pie on the board there. We like apple pies, not maths pies. So it's been a game changer. And I think the other really great thing has been like JB, all those events that we've been able to do. So
lately it's been it gets more and more interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we've got some pretty big announcements coming up for some cool things, some events that we're doing this year. And I think the other thing is just being able to do things like those charity cooks that we do.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do that without a professional, because I'm just a home cook, remember? Thanks, JB. Do you want to say bye to everyone? I'm just going to
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining this morning. I mean, I don't
know
what time is it?
Evening for most people. And then I thought I would show you my studio. So this is my shooting studio. This is where everything gets shot for my videos and my photos. So you can see JB's right there, and we work really closely together when we're shooting, because cheesy shots, they've got very limited time span. So literally I'll pull them out of the oven and dash over here and then shoot the cheese shot. So basically what happens is this shooting studio set up here is something that I just cobbled together with my team, actually with my brother, he's my IT guy. And we just basically invented it ourselves, because there's no such thing as a food blogger filming and photo setup. So we've got I've got a big light there, and then I've got the side camera, and I also have an overhead camera here, and then I have the screens there. So I have the screens there, so I can see what I'm doing as I'm filming them. So and then I also take my photos here as well. So I have separate cameras for my photos, because the quality of footage is different. So this is my photography photo camera, and and then I have my little prop room. So if I just do a twirl, so you can see what I've got here. So this is my shoot studio, and then there's JB, usually yelling at me, telling me what I'm doing wrong in a recipe. And then in here we have thank you. This is the prop room. So this is where all the props for the photos and the videos are stored in here.
Your bigger prop is
and then my what? Sorry. Oh, my biggest prop. The most important prop is here. Hello, prop. Turn around, prop. Turn around, Dozer, come on. It's because he's not cooperating, because I've run out of Vegemite shapes. So that's a tour of my studio kitchen. And this is where my team comes. So it's just, when I say my team, I've got JB and my assistant who come in here each day and work with me. The rest of my team actually work remotely mostly. So I have a video editor, and I have my IT manager, I have a finance manager, and then I also have my food bank team. They work in the kitchen in the city. And yeah, that's a commercial kitchen, so it's not like a home kitchen. And yeah, so it's my assistant and JB and I who work here each day. Yeah, and then this is JB's office, because he's the only one around here who's got an office. I just work in a dark corner of the living room upstairs. So yeah, that's it. So, this is the first time I've done a tour of my house. So I hope you found it a little bit interesting. I know it's, I'm sure other authors do much more professional live streams than me, but I just thought you might want to see, my real life. So that's pretty much it. I don't know what I need to do for... Oh, do I have a barbecue as well? I do. I have a barbecue. It's here. It's just here. There it is. It's just a freestanding one. I was going to do a built-in one, but it just became a little bit... I just didn't get my head around it. Barbecuing is, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at barbecuing. I just treat it like a stove. So yeah, that was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining. As I said, I'm sorry if I said the word and a little too much, because as I said, I've never done this before. And do people have professional cameramen normally doing it? Because I just feel a little unprofessional walking around with my MacBook. But it's been really fun. So thank you everyone for joining. Bye.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you